this video, I'm going to share a really fun way to use your designer series papers. So I'm using 3 different patterns because I'm making 3 cards, all using the same layout. So I'm just going to jump right in and show you this really easy technique. Now I'm going to cut this into 3 strips. Now you don't have to measure, you can eyeball it. It could be 4 or 5 strips, whatever you like, but I've been doing 3. And I like to have a larger, a medium, and a small strip. So I'm just sliding this over to 1. So I have a 1 inch. And then I'm gonna cut it, line it up at the 1.5. So I'm going to line up my widest on the bottom, the medium in the middle, and the thinnest on the top. While I have my paper trimmer out, I'm going to do the same thing with these pieces and at the same measurements. Oh, that one's pretty close to being the same sizes. So you know what? Let's go ahead and cut this one in half. We'll do this one a little bit different. And we'll see what happens. I'm gonna line this up at the 3/4 mark. And I'm going to tuck them together like so. This one I'm lining it up at the 1 inch. And I'm going to cut this one at the 1 1/4 mark. Okay, so I've got my paper stacked up and I'm just keeping it, in place. So that's the bottom one. And again, I'm just stacking them up so that they're flush on the bottom and on the sides. Let's try this again. There we go. And another one. And one more. Okay. So now basically it's a matter of gluing them back together, so that's why you want to keep them in the order that you cut them in and that you stack them in. So I'm going to start with the top piece using a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm going to have it go right up at the top, flush with the edge of my basic black, and I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch down on the side, and I will continue to leave about 1/8 of an inch between the remaining pieces. Now again, because this basic black layer measures 5.5 by 4 1/4, I'm then going to be trimming this down 1/4 of an inch, so it'll be 5 by 5 1/4 by 4, so that it can fit on my card panel. And that just gives me, like I said, a little bit of grace for not lining things up exactly. So I'm just going to continue putting all the pieces, working my way down. Okay, so there's my first strip. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on the second one. On this piece, I can tell that I got my cardstock layers mixed up a little bit, which is why these are not lining up. So that's why you need to make sure when you're cutting your paper that you keep them in the order that you cut them. However, I think it's still really pretty, but you might want to keep that in mind. So I'm going to set this aside to dry and work on this beautiful piece here. Go ahead, whoops, and do exactly the same thing. And I will speed it up a little bit. So there's that panel done and ready to be trimmed, and all these pieces are ready to be made into cards. Here's one that I did earlier as well. This is with the Best Dressed Designer Series paper, which I'm totally smitten with. I love the colors and the design. So I'm going to trim all of these up and make some beautiful cards. So now I have all of my panels on their card bases. They look gorgeous. This one I decided to put it on a Poppy Parade card base. I think I prefer the black, but I wanted to try it. And then this one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish stamping and embellishing these, and I will show you the finished cards.